Good evening and welcome back to Sports Talk ATL. I am Chase Earl, joined by Alex Lord. Wow. I mean, I don't really know what else to say when we're in a game with the Panthers and at halftime, I guess maybe after that pick six coming out of halftime, I'm like, holy crap. Like we are horrendous. We are horrendous and losing 30-0. And there's really not a lot of good to talk about. I guess if you want to, we always like to start with the good. But maybe the defense, like they weren't atrocious. It certainly wasn't their best performance of the season, but I still think, they're building towards being, an above average unit. But outside of that, I mean, special teams, coaching, Michael Penix Jr., I think you got to give an F to all of the above. Where do you want to start when it comes to that? I think Michael Penix is the rightful place to start because we talk about, yep, he's going to have a hiccup. He's going to have some of these games where he's not that bad. We talked about he had the least amount of interceptable passes in his 5 starts. He threw a couple of terrible ones, but it wasn't just the interceptions. I mean, he was all over the place. He was inaccurate where he was going with the ball, and then he was just not going. It seemed like he lost confidence and was just guessing on where to go, especially in the second half, because if you go look at some of those highlights from throughout the game, like there'll be a receiver running wide open. So for everyone that's like, oh, Zach Robinson's the worst, listen, I'm not going to sit up here and stand up for Zach Robinson when your team gets shut out. But there were plenty. I think it was more on Michael Penix Jr. than it was on the offensive coordinator in this case.
I'm going to present a different perspective.
So,
Panthers might be pretty good.
Stop.
Panthers might be a playoff team. NFC South might have 3 playoff teams coming out of it this year. Maybe Bryce Young isn't so bad. Maybe Dave can. Nah, I'm just kidding. They're not good, which basically means we're not that good. Because, when you lose 30-0, no matter the circumstances, you're putting lipstick on a pig. And that's what I'm about to do. Because I don't think the defense was bad at all. I mean, other than the very first drive, which they went the length of the field, 70, 80 yards. I don't remember where they started. Other than that drive, they were just continually put in disadvantageous situations. That's not a word, excuse me. Short fields, whether it was interceptions, whether it was, turnovers are turnovers, and a turnover on downs is essentially a turnover when you're talking about the defense. It doesn't go on the stat sheet, interception, fumble. But as far as the defense is concerned, yeah, that's a damn turnover when every single part of your missing field goals is putting your defense in a bad situation too. So there were so many different situations where the defense, they kept coming up big for you. I mean, we were only down 10-0 going into the half. Then the defense comes out and gets a stop. You go down there and score a touchdown, game's completely different. The defense, maybe the run game you could really critique, I think. But all in all, without arguably your most important player, maybe not your best player, but certainly your most important player on that side of the ball, A.J. Terrell, I think they did pretty damn good. Like, all things considered, I mean, we kept asking him to come up big, come up big, come up big. And at a certain point, it's like the defense, they're people. They're human beings. They look up at the score and they go, what the hell are we supposed to do? We continually are giving the offense chances, and they're just spitting in our faces.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think
I'm positive on the positive side of things.
Yeah, no, I think they played well. Like, I think it was another. I mean, I don't think the Panthers are a team, as we talked coming into this matchup, that are going to stress you a lot. I thought D. Outford filled in very, 100%. Very well. A second game in a row, I thought he played well in the second half of that last game in place of A.J. Terrell, and I thought he played good in the first half. So that's promising, especially considering we have seen him play good football, and maybe he was just a little bit out of position, and maybe he is better suited to play on the outside. So, if you're looking for positives, I mean, it was on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, I think that's 3 weeks of pretty borderline really good football from that side of the ball.
We are top 5. Now, obviously, giving up 30 points is going to look bad in terms of overall average points. But let's add some perspective. Obviously, the pick 6 is included in the points per game. I mean, that should really just be a defensive points per game allowed, not special teams, and obviously not offense, but it is. You're above league average in that regard, and total yards per game. I mean, you're top 5. I mean, the Panthers had like 200 yards of offense that game.
224 yards, I believe it was, which no one has even really come close. I think the closest was the Bucs. They got to 267. I mean, so for 3 weeks away, where the most points you've given or most yards you've given up in a game is 267, especially one like this where you're on the field for a bunch of it and your offense isn't doing you any favors. I mean, yeah, like that's the one positive. The negative, though, is everything else. I mean, everything else. I mean, this was just a horrendous performance from Michael Penix Jr. And I don't want to jump off the bandwagon because of one bad performance. And maybe you could say two, because it wasn't like he was great in week 2 against the Minnesota Vikings. But, there's more questions there than I think, maybe we did jump on okay, he's the next franchise quarterback for sure. I still think he is. I'm just saying, like, I think we might have been a little overzealous and just being like, kind of forgetting that some of these games are going to happen for a young quarterback, and hopefully he can just throw this one in the trash. I don't even know if you have to watch that much film on this one. This was one of those games where it's
better.
Yeah, I know, but it's also one of those games where it's like, Mike, let's forget about that one. He
was bad in pretty much every regard, whether it was operations, getting to the line of scrimmage, and maybe some of that has to do with Z-Rob as well. Pre-snap wasn't good. Post-snap was really not good. Decision-making, accuracy, progressions. This is one where you want to flush it, but he should certainly learn from it. And the only people who didn't expect something like this are people who live in their own little ecosystem, because every single young quarterback will have a game like this. This is the freaking NFL. This is not college football. This is, the Packers, who everybody was ready, including myself, to crown, they're going to challenge the whatever Dolphins who went undefeated, go out there and lose to the Browns. I mean, it's as simple as that. That's what the NFL is. Nobody is good enough to just overlook anyone, especially the Falcons. And let's give the Panthers defense a little bit of credit. Derek Brown is easily one of the best interior defenders in the league. J.C. Horn is a pretty damn good corner as well. For Michael Penix, I'll say, as bad as it was, I'm shocked, but I'm not shocked that he had a bad game per se. Like, this was going to happen. And anybody who is ready to jump off the bandwagon, you were never even on it. I don't even think you're on it. If this discourages you enough. Now, if this was year 3, I'd be like, ooh, okay.
Yeah.
We got some trouble. The only thing that I can, really, talk about, and maybe we could talk about this in a whole different segment, because, this is the exact thing we were talking about, where, like, Michael Penix Jr., he was going to struggle inevitably. Kirk Cousins is healthy. I'm not calling for it, but this is Pandora's box that you, Raheem Morris, and Terry Fontenot opened. Now there will be questions. Now there will be calls. Now not everybody is tugging on the same rope.
Yeah.
This is what I'm talking about. This was inevitable.
Yeah, because it's impossible not to at least think, just as a human being that enjoys watching the Falcons and hopes that they can finally stop sucking, if Kirk Cousins starts that game, do we lose? Like, it's impossible. Like, it's impossible.
It's natural human behavior.
It's impossible not to think that. And now we can't go back. We talked about it before the season.
We can literally not go back.
There is no going. You traded your 2026 first round pick. Like, you better hope.
Well, that might be even more reason to play whoever gives you the best chance to win. Like, the Falcons have now painted themselves in a corner where there is no, good answer.
But then you're looking for a new quarterback in the draft next year without a first round pick, which is it's ugly. Like, to me, I think
you can't go back, because now you're invested in the long-term development of Michael Penix Jr.
Exactly. And that's
the problem. That was the entire issue with going and doing what the Falcons did last year in the draft, and more so Kirk Cousins, falling on his face, injured, whatever it might be.
It's like, I want to go look at what's happened over just these first 3 weeks in the NFL, but particularly the last 2. Just look at Minnesota, what we were able to do to them. And then they go out, and I know Carson Wentz was playing over JJ McCarthy, but they won that game 48-10. They look like a totally different team. And that's what can happen in this league. And then vice versa, what happened to the Falcons looked like a team that was, a playoff contender, looked like the worst team in the NFL this Sunday. The Packers, you just mentioned them, and then they lose to the Browns after looking like the best team in the NFL through the first 2 weeks. And I want to, be like, all right, these kind of things happen in the NFL. But at the same time, I'm like, why? Like, we should not be out there losing 30-0 to the Carolina Panthers. It's like the
Packers lost on a time expiring game winning field goal. We didn't get into the red zone. Like, there's differences.
Yeah.
There's levels to losing. I don't want to say the Packers lost pretty per se because they're obviously pissed off about losing. But, like, listen, all the goodwill they had in week 2 is all gone. It's all gone no matter what. It's really, really hard to build up goodwill and trust. And, you know, the national media starts talking about you. It can go away in an instant. It just did. This is not what good teams do. Good teams don't fluctuate as much as the Falcons have been and probably will continue to do. Yeah. That's what mediocre teams do.
I mean, it just feels like the same song and dance. And this is who the Falcons seem to be under Raheem Morris. I mean, it just is what it is.
I mean, there's so many different avenues that we can go down and who to blame and what not. But at the end of the day, it looked like we had an all right game plan. Michael Penix Jr. was awful. Raheem Morris is smiling, hugging his old players after the game. It just feels like we're headed towards another 7-10, 8-9 season. Like, we're going to have a couple more moments where we go, are we pretty good? Are we good? It wouldn't shock me if we go out and beat the Commanders.
It wouldn't shock me at all.
With Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
Like, that's just who the Falcons have been and will continue to be. And we didn't even touch on Parker Romo and that mess. We have got serious issues with this football team.
I mean, what 3 pillars decide whether you win or lose games in the NFL? Number 1, your quarterback, right? And we hope Michael Penix is going to look a lot better at the end of the season. But when we're just talking about this year, game to game, you really don't know. You really don't know exactly what you're going to get. Coaching, that would be probably right there, number 2, or kicking. We have no idea what we're going to get out of those 2 guys. Raheem Morris, I mean, we talk about it all the time. You're at a coaching disadvantage every single week. And this
guy is a pendulum of a head coach. Last year, never used timeouts. This year, uses them like we've gotten an unlimited amount of timeouts. It feels like it happened in the Vikings game and it happened in the Bucks game where we are going into the end of one of the halves without more timeouts than we should because of procedural crap.
Yeah. I mean, we're now 3 weeks in and procedural crap has been doing this. And think back to what we were saying. You know where you can fix some of that stuff? The preseason. The preseason. All that stuff doesn't matter. Well, then through 3 games, we are a walking mess at procedural stuff.
We love getting to the line of scrimmage with 10 seconds left. Love it.
And so, yeah, maybe Michael Penix isn't going to become the best quarterback of all time because he got three series. But guess what? Maybe we can get used to getting to the line of scrimmage. Like little things like that.
I'll tell you this, and I don't know what, maybe there's some difference. I don't know. When Kirk Cousins came in, I'm not saying this badly about Michael Penix. I'm just illustrating he got to the line of scrimmage on average with like 15 seconds left on the play clock.
Yeah. No, listen, I don't think it's just coaching. Like, I think.
No. Well, I'll say this. Zach Robinson is getting a lot of hate, and maybe some of it is deserved. Some of it I don't think is so much deserved. But, like, Michael Penix Jr. was the chief problem in Sunday's loss, at least offensively.
No doubt. There's no doubt about it. But those 3 pillars, you got to worry about them every single week. And one of them falls and you lose a close game in the NFL. And it's just tough.
When 2 of them are always a problem, you're not going to win a lot of football games.
Yep. And that's just, I don't know what to say.
The Parker Romo era lived and died very quickly.
Oh my God. That was just, what an embarrassment. I mean, I can't.
That looked like me on a tee box.
I can't
That was such a bad, it looked like we were in, Buffalo in December. Like that ball took such a hard right. The first one I'm talking about. It was like, that is what my drive looks like on a golf course.
I checked I was in an NFL game against the Carolina Panthers. After all the hype that we were talking about this team and feeling about this team, this might finally be the team that breaks the postseason streak. We were all happy with what we've seen through the first 2 weeks. Very easily could have been 2-0. For the fact that like halfway through the third quarter, I pretty much checked out. I mean, it's unexplainable.
At least we don't have to like wait and see until like week 14 to find out we're not that good.
30-0. Let's talk about some college football. I can't talk about this team anymore. Coming up after the break.